Okay, so we all want to know how to have celebrities endorse your product. Now, I'm going to take this a step further and say not only celebrities, but influencers. I'm kind of speaking to a broader audience that really have a desire to integrate influencers into their marketing. But here's what I've found I've leveraged a lot of influencers without even really knowing it. And I think that's kind of the secret here, right? The way that I've done it is by putting relationships first. So I have a lot of marketing influencers, really well respected people in the entrepreneur space that have endorsed my brand or me, and I've never asked them to. I never asked them to do anything. Instead, I give first, I build the relationship first. If I sit there and think about this and how I've scaled, because I have literally scaled leveraging influencers, here's kind of how it's unfolded, right? It starts in baby steps. It starts in encouraging them online. So when they post, read it and engage. Did you notice I said read it? I didn't say just engage. You have to read it so you can actually contribute to the conversation. Don't just get in there and go, cool story, bro, on everything, right? Actually contribute to the topic at hand and give value. They're never going to know you exist unless you start showing up. As you continue to engage on their content over time and over time and over time, then they see you. Then they got a little tiny space in their head. They may not know who you are, but they know your name. As you continue to read and engage, then they start to absorb your personality. They start to interpret who you are. So that's another important reason why you read instead of just engaging randomly, because you're actually showing them a little bit of who you are, what your morals are, what your beliefs are, what type of person you are. Are you a good person? Do you give first? Are you like a lot of people know me as a family person? It's because as I read and engage, I relate a lot of things in my comments to my experiences with my wife and kids. So people start to understand who you are. And that's really important because your customers will convert on you being a human. They may follow you for your business advice, but they will convert because they related to you as a human. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody that's followed me on LinkedIn and Facebook. They finally message and they go, hey, I know you do SEO and that's really cool. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But that was really cool what you said about your wife and kids. So they convert on the personal element. So just like you're trying to build relationships with celebrities and influencers, they're going to eventually absorb your personality. Now, over time, that will lead to the opportunity for a private message. So a lot of times they will actually start the message towards me and say, hey, thanks for showing up consistently, or thanks for your little bit of advice, because celebrities and influencers need advice too. So whatever your area of expertise is, don't go vomit it all the time. Like be sincere and give value and share and contribute on their content. But when the time is right, if you have real, tangible, actionable advice, just give it to them. Don't reply and say, hey, I know how to do this thing. Here's my calendar. Don't put them in your funnel, give it to them. And that's a little token of trust. That's when the relationship starts to shift. So they may message you, or over time, if that happens enough, then you kind of have a little doorway that's opened where they give you the opportunity for you to message them without it being weird. I actually just did this last week. I'm not going to say who. Really respectable person, well known in the entrepreneur and business space, done multi-million-dollar days. And I've been engaging with him for probably 2 or 3 years. Never asked him for anything. We've ran into each other twice at marketing events. And that's the other thing, is if you get the opportunity to meet them in person, continue that trend. Don't ask them for anything, but go say hi and say, hey, it's Damon. We've engaged a lot online. Then they can put a face to the name. They see your face on social media, but it's different when they see your face in person. Now they know who you are. So then fast forward back to this person. They made a post and it was business and marketing related. And it was about a topic that I have experience in. So I messaged him. I didn't reply in the thread. I went directly to him because there's a lot of noise in the thread. So now I had an opportunity to engage them directly. And I said, hey, on that post, here's how you do that. And I just gave it to them. But had I not engaged historically in the other posts and said hi in person, they would have completely ignored my private message. This person gets hundreds, if not thousands of messages a day, but they saw Damon and they've connected the dots. And so it gave me the opportunity for them to at least look at it. And then when they looked at it and then they saw it wasn't sales pitchy, it wasn't selfish, and I was giving value, then they read it. Now we've taken that level of trust to another level. So there's lots of opportunities like that. I'll give one more example. Another well-respected entrepreneur, same kind of thing, engaging over the years, had an opportunity where they reached out in private message. We continued conversation. They had a question about something that I could solve. We jumped on Zoom. I solved that problem. Then fast forward, I'm in Utah. They're coming to Utah. They make a post and they got a problem with transportation. I was able to message them and said, I can pick you up. How creepy would that have been if we didn't have everything before that? But now we had built a relationship and enough trust that I could message him and it wasn't weird. So now just imagine the level of trust that happens when I go out of my way to pick him up and take him to where he goes. And when we went, I brought my kids. because my kids were with me anyway. That's actually another layer of trust. Damon shared his family with me. Not only that, but it wasn't businessy. So I brought my kids because I want to bring my kids and I bring them everywhere. But if you think about it, if I were to do that intentionally, another, like on the opposite side, like you're bringing down the sales walls because you're not coming at them purely for a manipulative reason. My whole goal in celebrities and influencers is not because they're celebrities and influencers. It's because they're at a level of experience in business and exposure that I admire. And I want friendships at that level. So by putting people first and putting these celebrities and influencers just as humans, don't come at them for anything, then that's where you establish these relationships. And then that, the icing on the cake in the end, is all these guys talk about me and I never asked them to. So that's how you use celebrities to endorse your business without ads, is you can use things like relationships.